Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tom Talk Stuff. I'm Gleeman Tom, and today we've got another anime to cover. Now, today's anime is actually a little special. For those of you who don't know, I'm on Google Plus, and I do a daily anime reading there. And basically, what happened is I let the Google Plus audience choose which anime I would watch next, and that was Absolute Duo, which I finished on Wednesday. And I told all out on there that I would be doing a review on it. So if you guys want to be a part of the next anime I watch, well, the one after what I'm watching now. Right now I'm watching Chivalry of a Failed Knight, which funny enough is eerily similar to Absolute Duo, but we'll get into that later. So if you want to be involved in my next anime choice, hop over to Google Plus and get a part of that poll. I usually put up a poll a few days before I'm done with my current anime. So, moving on to the plot and setting of the anime I watched, Absolute Duo. Now, Absolute Duo is about several organizations, let's call them, who want to absolute duo. That's the title, but that's also the grand design of the show. Now, I can't really tell you what absolute duo is because it's very iffy. It could be some ultimate power, it could be some dominating force. I don't know. I don't know. It's just another. It's iffy. It really is. The main people who are searching for it is a bunch of these organizations: Blaze Diabolica, Master Smith, Silent Diva, Dark Ray Disaster, Tempest Judge, Grave Phantom. I mean, I really wish I saw more of these other organization heads because their names were so interesting, they were so interesting, but they barely got any screen time at all. Instead, what we focused on was two opposing forces, and that being the Blaze Diabolica, the headmistress of Curio Academy, who turns her students into Exceeds with Lucifers, which give her students the ability to manifest weapons in the form of their souls. Blaze is what they call them. Don't ask me to explain it, because much like Absolute Duo, the show doesn't do a really great job of explaining how it happens. It's just, this is how it is, moving on. The antagonist of the series is the Master Smith. From the Equipment Smith organization, they are the antagonists of the series. I might have just said that, but oh well. They use units, basically super suits, that give their people immense power, and most of the standard uniforms kind of look like Halo suits. At least that's the way I saw it. And there are plenty other organizations, but unfortunately, other than their names and a couple of the heads of the organizations that we saw that I mentioned earlier, like Silent Diva and Tempest Judge, that just sound and look kind of cool, we don't get much more on. Maybe there's more of it in the books, but we really didn't get much more of it in the anime. It was just kind of, well, that's it. Anyways, the plot focuses on Blaze Diabolica's organization, Curio Academy, where the headmistress, again, uses Lucifers to create her students as Exceeds, and they use Blaze weapons so they can become future peacekeepers. In Curio Academy, the students form duo partnerships, because apparently when they become these peacekeepers, they will work in teams of two. So all of the students have a partner, a duo. And I will be discussing the three main duos of the series, as well as a couple other characters that I would be amiss not to bring up. So the main duo of the series are also the title characters, Tor Kokonoe and Julie Sigtuna. I almost said Julia, because it's kind of how it's spelled. Tor Kokonoe he's the standard protag for these harem school fantasy animes. He's a nice guy who's working towards a goal, he has a tragic past, and he's nice, and all of these girls like him, but he's just so darn embarrassed, but he likes this one, but he also kind of likes this one too, but he will stand by them till the end. You know, very standard protag for this kind of series. However, he is a bit different than everyone else at the Academy. He is an irregular, and that is because most people's blaze weapons form as a melee weapon of some kind. However, Tor forms a shield. And that's apparently never been seen before. And that is because Tor wishes to protect. Tor wants to shield his friends, his family, the people he cares about. His partner is Yulie Sigtuna, a sweet little red-eyed, silver-haired petite girl from Scandinavia who's very adorable. She says yes and no with ya and nay. I think it's nay. She was good, and they are the defining point of this show. This show is not the greatest show I've never seen. It's not the worst show I've ever seen. It's solidly in the middle. It's let's say 6 out of 10. And without the relationship of Tor and Yulie, it would go from a 6 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10 in my opinion. They are really what makes this show good. Their relationship, their bonding with each other, their trust for each other, their fighting together, the way they interact, the way they have their tea, it's just so wonderful that amidst so many, I'm sorry to say, bland characters in this show, their relationship shines so brightly. Uh, I was cheering and worried for these characters. When it gets to the finale of the show, I wasn't even sitting in my chair anymore. I was standing. I was like, oh, come on, you got to do it. And it was because of them. Now, I'm going to move on to the next duo on the list, who were very standard. Tora and Tatu. I've always found it weird that the main character in this show is named Tor, and his best buddy from middle school is Tora. I mean, they added a single damn letter. That's it. They added a single letter. I looked it up, and apparently that's just a shortened version of his name. You know how they shorten their names due to affection. The best way I can think of is that in Hitman Reborn, the main character's name is Sunada or Suna, and people who really like him call him Su or Sukun. I guess that's a way you can say it. I'm not explaining it well at all. But I finally looked it up. His name, Tora, is actually Aoi Torasaki. So his name isn't Tora. I went on way too long about this. Wow. His duo partner is Tatu. And Tatu is actually really funny. Tatu does not speak a single line in the entire show. He's a big, burly, muscular dude, and when he speaks, it's a simple, huh! And it's him posing. And what's funny is that characters often act like they can understand it. There was one point where the teacher, who is my favorite character, who I will be talking about soon, calls on the class for a question. And he gets up and poses. That's it. And she's like, that's correct. That is the answer. And goes on. And everyone's just like, what? He's very funny, but he's not given enough. And that makes it sad because there, again, is another point that's not explored enough in this show. One are the mysterious organizations, and two is Tatu. We never got him to see. We never got to see him speak. We never got to explore more of his character. Tora is a decent character, but the problem is Tora is so unbelievably standard. Insert male form friend from the past here. He doesn't have a lot of personality. He did kind of blush when Tor actually asked him to be his duo at the beginning of the series, so I don't know if he has a thing for Tor. I honestly don't know, and I don't have enough experience here. I haven't watched the books. I can only count about the 12 episodes. He was a decent character. He was voiced by a English dub actor I really liked, but he just falls short. It's sad. The last duo I will mention is Tomoe and Miyabi. Again, standard characters. Tomoe is the tough, no-nonsense martial arts girl who is all... Oh, wow. How do I say this? She's straightforward, honest, and pure, but ends up getting in precarious positions. Every time she spars with Tor, she ends up giving him a face full of her breasts, or is wrapped around him in a way that's just completely inappropriate. And it's for comedy, but it's just unfortunate. She is a standard character. She is the tough girl who is put in embarrassing situations, and her partner is just as standard. Miyabi is the sweet, innocent, pretty, big breasted girl who has a crush on the main character. And I honestly thought she wouldn't get more of that. She is shown as being weaker than the others in this show. But what ends up happening is she ends up making certain choices that makes her extremely important to the finale of this show, which surprised me, is I didn't expect her to be as relevant into the show as she was. I thought she would just be a side character. But no, she got like entire episodes to her. It was surprising. Moving on, there's only two more characters for me to really talk about here, and that is Lilith Bristol, who is the third girl that's in love with Tor, other than Yulie and Miyabi, and maybe Tomoe. I think Tomoe likes Tor as a friend, but I don't know. Anyways, Lilith Bristol transferred from the English branch just because she heard Tor was an irregular with a shield. And the reason she transferred was because she is also different, except they don't call her an irregular, they called her an exception. I don't know if I said a little bit earlier, but most blazes are melee weapons. But Lilith uses a rifle. A rifle! She shoots people with her soul. That's really cool. She's a she's pretty, she's sassy, she's big busted. And when I first met her, I thought she was going to be a pretentious, forgive my language, a pretentious bitch. I didn't think I would like her. But more than once in this show, she has thrown herself into danger to protect others. She acts sassy, she acts pretentious, but she's actually really kind. And honestly, I wouldn't mind if she got her wish and got Tor at the end of the show. She straight up stated that she's going to make Tor her husband. And honestly, I'm still iffy if Tor and Yulie really are a couple, or if they're more forming a brother-sister situation. I mean, Tor's purpose is because his sister was murdered. And Yulie is kind of taking the position of that sister in his heart. And Yulie's father was murdered, and she kind of makes Tor her kind of substitute dad, even though they're about the same ages. Now, this doesn't mean they can't form a romantic relationship in the future, but I mean, I'm not opposed to Tor and Lilith. I'm really kind of into that. The last character I'm going to mention is my favorite character of the series, and that's Rito Tsukimi. And she is the homeroom teacher of this show. And she's introduced as this busty, pretty lady with purple eyes and bunny ears that kind of hops up on the desk with this sing-songy, she's really nice and peppy, and freaks out in her entire class. But we soon learned that's not who she is at all. She's actually this vicious, sadistic, violent woman who loves kicking ass. And that just made her so much better. And it's funny because the main duos are the only ones that really know who she is. I mean, the other class kind of sees her kick ass towards the finale, and she becomes even more popular with them, but the only ones that really know her are those three main duos. And she, while being bitchy, while being scary, while straight up attacking and drawing blood from her students, also seems to enjoy her role as teacher and protects these students. So she just became my favorite character of the series. She's awesome. Well, overall, this show was a solid, good anime. It's not the best anime I've ever seen. It's not the worst anime I've ever seen. It's solidly in the middle. I think I said a little bit earlier, but I don't. I'm sorry. I don't have the greatest attention span. It's a 6.5, or it's a 6 to 6.5 out of 10. And that's what I'm going to officially rate it. I'm going to have to change the rating on my daily anime ratings because I used to score out of 5. But I need a score out of I changed it because of this anime to a score out of 10 because I didn't want to give this show a bad rating because I didn't not enjoy it. So giving it a 3 was just felt insulting. But giving it a 4 almost always seemed too much. So this is what made me switch to an out of 10 rating. And it was decent. I honestly don't think I'll ever watch it again unless there's going to be a season 2. I really don't. But I don't regret watching it for a single second. I enjoyed every episode I watched, and I'm quite happy that this was picked for me by everybody in Google Plus. And if you want to be a part of my next poll, I don't think you even have to be following me on my daily anime ratings or anything, but I'd surely appreciate if you did. I'll actually let you know on one of my videos when the next poll is coming up, so that even you guys can, make that decision if you want. So I think it's about time to end this video. The one word, if I, I'm talking all over myself. If I was to pick one word that perfectly said what this show was about, what Absolute Duo was about, that would be relationships. Absolute Duo, partnerships. What drives the protagonist to get stronger? Their relationships with each other. What drives the antagonist to move forward with their plans? Their lost relationships. And what prompts the difficult choices for all these characters to make? And that's their relationships with each other. Relationships is the key of this show. And it's the reason I liked it as much as I did. It is a standard issue anime about harem, about high school life, and about the whole turning their souls into weapon. This show is standard across the board, but it is driven not by the plot, not by these weapons, not by the fights they get into, but by their relationships with each other. And that's why I enjoyed this show as much as I did. Thank you all for watching. If you'd like to check out this show, I highly recommend you get at it. I know for a fact it's on Funimation, because that's where I watched it in dub. It is on Hulu. I don't know if it's in dub or if it's only in sub on Hulu, and I honestly don't know if it's on Crunchyroll. I probably should have checked before I did this video. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you want to make a recommendation of what show I should watch next, feel free to put it in the comments below. Remember, you can follow me as Gleeman Thom at Google+, Pinterest, and Tumblr. Oh, and Twitter, but I barely get on Twitter. So, thank you all for watching, take care, and have a good night. I'm out.